This is a simple guide to painting fantasy miniatures. There are a number of tools that will be helpful in the process, including a magnifying glass, hobby files, clippers, super glue, water-based acrylic paints, spray primers, brushes, and a desk lamp so you can actually see what you're doing. The first step is preparation, beginning by removing any loose parts from their sprues with a set of snippers or tiny pliers. You're also going to want to remove any flashing left over from the molding process. You'll then want to take a small hobby file and remove and shave away any mold lines, as they will become highly visible after the priming has been complete. After applying a small dab of super glue, keep the pieces held together for about 30 seconds as the glue sets and cures. Apply a small dab and place the miniature in a slot base will give you a decent handhold to keep grip on while painting. A variety of brushes leave you with a range of options, but go with the size that is most comfortable. I personally prefer a red sable brush, anywhere in the size 2 to 5. Look for a brush with a nice fine point, and try to avoid dipping the brush all the way into the paints, as pigments in the metal ferrule cause the bristles to fray. A number of small pointed brushes will be useful for picking out fine details later. And the magnifying glass is useful in spotting those details beforehand so you can plan your color scheme accordingly. After prepping, miniatures may be spray primed or painted with a brush-on primer coat. First step in painting the miniature is applying the base coat. Using a wet brush, apply the 3 to 5 primary paints that make up your color scheme. After the base coat, a shading wash is created by thinning the base color with water and adding a small amount of black. This wash of thin paint is then applied to fill in the gaps and crevices of the miniature and create the illusion of shadow and depth. After applying the shading wash, you're going to want to set the miniatures aside and leave them to dry for a good bit of time. Next, dip a dry brush in a small amount of paint and wipe most of it off on a towel or rag. You may then dust the miniature to highlight the raised areas in a process known as dry brushing. A highlighting wash is made by again thinning the base color with a small amount of water that allows you to pick out and emphasize important elements such as musculature and facial features. Finally, use a fine point brush to pick out fine details such as eyes, claws, teeth, or any other small components. And there you have it, a completely painted miniature. Paint your base and you're all done.